After coaching over 1,000 men for over the last 15 years, I've seen every excuse and setback out there. So in today's video, I'm breaking down the 7 most common reasons you're not losing fat. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to fix each one. Let's jump right into it. Okay, one of the most common reasons I've seen that most men get stuck with is you get busy and you have poor time management. Now, I'm going to tell you to fix that in just 1 minute if that's you. But when I was a coach, and maybe you're probably thinking the exact same thing that I did as a person trying to lose fat is, I used to think it was always about making the perfect workout plan, in your case, doing the perfect workout plan, and then for me, making the perfect meal plan for my clients. Well, even though I really dialed in my workouts for them and made the perfect meal plan, guess what happened? They never got results. It's like, why is that, right? Like if the meal plan's dialed in and the workouts are dialed in, why are my clients seeing results? The problem is the workouts were too long and the meal plan was unrealistic. Translation, they didn't have enough time to complete it. They got busy and they didn't do a good job planning out their workouts and their meals. So when I started making this shift my clients, and I want you to do this for you yourself as well, and I'll tell you how to do it in 1 minute, is I started focusing a lot more on, okay, let's not obsess about meal plan, workouts. Let's make it a little bit easier to fit their schedule, and let's focus on time management. That way we get the workouts in, the meal prep in, and we're actually getting results that's sustainable opposed to going up and down. So how to really master time management, let's say getting your workouts in, there's 3 main things that I want you to do, and this has worked really well with our members, and I can highly recommend this. Number 1, you want to work out in the mornings if possible. Now, if you can do it, don't worry, I totally get it because it's not for everyone. But let's say you are a morning person, try to get it done first thing, because the last thing you want to do, right, is like work 10 hours at your job and then go home and do a leg workout. Like, that kind of sucks, right? The second thing you want to do, I talk about this a lot on my channel, so I'm not going to go too deep into it, but you want to have a deep reason why you're trying to lose fat. Because remember, if you're just kind of go on like, hey, I want to look good and feel good, you're going to dry up with motivation, right? But if you have that deep reason why you want to lose fat, it's going to keep you motivated. And that way to the next point is when you're motivated, you're going to start planning. This is the third thing I want you to do. On Sunday, I want you to start planning your workouts and even your meal prep throughout the week. So I think a lot of times us guys, right, we wake up and we're like, okay, maybe I'll work out today if I have time. And then when the day's done, we just really don't get around to it, right? So what I want you to do, and I want to make this a non-negotiable for you, every single Sunday, let's say you have to work out 3 to 4 times per week. I want you to plan out those exact workouts, what days you're going to work out, and even what times if possible. Because if you just wake up on like a Tuesday or a Thursday and you're just winging it and you're hoping to work out, it's not going to end well. Like sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. But it's Sunday, if you can plan them out that show your exact days and times, make it a non-negotiable, just like you make your job a non-negotiable. I guarantee it's going to make getting your workouts more consistent, your meal prep more consistent, you're going to get better results, and you're not going to get stuck. So that's reason number 1, really focusing on time management. And if you match this, I guarantee it will help you. Okay, another big reason why most guys get stuck is lack of consistency with their food. Now, let me ask you a question. For a baseball player, if they went 5 for 50, but got 5 home runs, but also 45 strikeouts that came along with it, would you say those are good numbers overall? Probably not, right? Well, it's the exact same thing when it comes to guys and their food. Sometimes we hit home runs, like we do really well for the course of, let's say Monday through Saturday we do good, or maybe we do good for even a week or 2 at a time, but then we have a couple of bad weeks after, or we're doing good Monday through Friday, we blow the weekend. So we get those home runs where we're doing good, but we also get a lot of strikeouts because we either completely blow it on the weekend because we're just not consistent with our food, or we just have a bad couple weeks or even a bad month altogether. The more consistent you can be with your food, obviously, the better it's going to be. So in the baseball analogy, kind of sticking with it, we want more singles and doubles opposed to home runs and strikeouts. So if you can be consistent with that, opposed to just kind of going everything perfect and everything kind of, off, you'll be in a much better place in terms of sustain long-term fat loss. Now, if this is you and you're inconsistent with your food, there's 2 main things that you can really do. Number 1, you can set up a higher calorie day to accommodate. Now, I made a full video on how to do this. I'll link that above, or just comment Weekend Warrior and I'll send you our free guide. Or the second thing you can do is more just follow like an 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time, you're having some of those foods that you really enjoy. And then 20% of the time, you can have some of those foods like your pizza, your nachos, your beers, and whatnot. So if you are inconsistent with your food, you have to change it, because if you're not, I guarantee it's one of the main reasons you're not losing fat and you're still stuck. All right, another main reason why most guys get stuck is we try to go 0 to 100 way too fast. So I remember when I was younger, I was a long distance runner, believe it or not. And I still remember at the starting point of the race, right? We had all the kids line up, and when the gun went off, it was just go time. So as soon as that gun went off, maybe you're a long distance runner yourself. Do you ever remember, or have you ever seen those kids who basically sprinted off the bat? So they'd be sprinting for the first, let's say 30, maybe 1 minute into it. And guess what happens to those kids? You see them walking later down in the race, right? And eventually you pass them. Well, it's the exact same thing when it comes to fitness. If we sprint off the bat, and I'll explain what I mean just in 1 second. If we try to do everything all at once and we don't pace ourselves out, the issue is we're gonna do good for a little bit, but we can't sustain it. And then ultimately it's gonna leave you stuck in that fat loss phase. Now let's really break this down and make this a little more practical for you. So let's say you're getting back into it, or you just want to maybe battle more consistency. You want more consistency in your routine, your diets, your workouts. Instead of having and being perfect with every single thing, so let's say 160 grams of protein, 5 workouts a week, 10,000 steps per day, tracking everything, sleeping 9 hours. Like, instead of trying to be perfect with every single thing, we want to just do little things at once until we get to Mount Everest. So for example, maybe instead of having 160 grams per day right away, maybe we aim for 130. Instead of doing 5 workouts a week, maybe we do 3. And instead of walking 10,000 steps, maybe we walk 8,000 steps. That way it's actually sustainable. You're not absolutely crushing yourself. And then you can always progress when you do get stuck. Because if you try to do everything all at once, I'd call these levers. And maybe you've seen the show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You get stuck in that show, you can call a friend, use 50-50, et cetera, et cetera. What's the exact same thing in a fat loss phase? If you're maxing out these things at the start and you get stuck, it's kind of tough, right? To do, maybe add more protein or cut more calories if you're already at that limit. But if you give yourself some space, you can pull those levers, and then you can get over to say in that fat loss phase. Because think of it like Mount Everest, right? Like for Mount Everest, you don't go base camp to the top in 1 day. You will legit die, right? That you can't do that. You start to acclimatize. You go phase 1 for a little bit, phase 2, phase 3, I think there's phase 4. You spend time each of that zone ultimately until you get the top. It's the exact same thing with fitness. You slowly build in more good habits as you get better and as you start to get acclimatized to it. And if you do that, you're going to sustain fat loss long term, and you're never going to have those, you do great to start, die off, and kind of repeat that vicious cycle. So if this is you, try to pace yourself out and don't go 0 to 100. So that way you can make sure you get over that fat loss plateau. Okay, another common reason why most men get stuck is you don't have a clear, personalized game plan. So I remember about maybe 10, 15 years ago, before GPS was an actual thing, I remember going to the Bills games, like I'm around Toronto, about an hour, give or take. And I remember going down to the Bills games, and we printed off, those MapQuest things, like back in the day. Maybe I'm showing my age right now, but we printed off like the MapQuest sheets, and we would kind of look at the map and have an idea of where we're going. Well, before one trip, I remember I didn't really plan it out that well. I'm like, let's just bring the map. I'll be fine. I'll figure it out. So I still remember again, we crossed the states, and we're around the stadium, maybe about 45 minutes away, but I was completely lost. I had no game plan. I'm looking at the map, I'm kind of scrambling, and next thing you know, I'm pulling over, asking people from the States where I'm supposed to be going for the stadium. Point being, I had no game plan, and I had no set structure, and I was basically just trying to wing it for the most part. I had a rough idea where I was going, but I really didn't know where I was going. Point being, it's the exact same thing a lot of times with guys and their fat loss goals. It's more just like, I want to lose weight, I want to feel better, I want to look better. That's not good enough. You want to be as specific as you can. Like how much weight, how much fat do you want to lose? How long is it going to take you to get there? What actual steps are you going to take to get you towards your goal? What happens if an injury pops up? What happens if you're on vacation? Like these are things that you need to think about because if you don't, you're kind of gonna be like me driving the Bills game. You're gonna be winging it. Like you have a sense of direction you're going, but you don't know exactly how to get there. The more actual steps you have By actual steps, I mean like saying your protein number, how many calories you'll be doing, where you're working out, what kind of workouts you're doing. If you can answer as many of those questions as you can, the more precise you're going to be in terms of reaching your goal, the less information you have here, the harder it's going to be to get towards your goal because it's really vague and you have no clear actionable steps to get you to where you want to go, excuse me. So overall, my point is have a clear set goal, how much fat you want to lose, how long it's going to take you, and determine what steps that you're going to take to get you towards your goal. Okay, another common reason why most men get stuck is we struggle with getting our protein up and we struggle with meal planning. Now, remember Justin, like he was a busy dad and he did pretty good in terms of getting his workouts in, but sometimes it'd be a struggle for him to get his protein up because a lot of the times, he has a family. It was more just like maybe order Uber late at night, and then we struggle to get the protein numbers up. However, we made 3 big changes that changed everything for him, and the stubborn fat started melting off, and they also started seeing better muscle definition. So for the protein, here's exactly what we did. Number 1, we started front loading his protein more in the morning. So if you get your protein more in the morning, you don't have to worry about it late at night, especially let's say if you're, a busy dad or you're just a busy guy when you get home from work and you're wondering like, okay, what the hell do I eat for protein now? Especially when Uber Eats is basically right there and convenient for you. So we front loaded his protein in the morning. Number 2, we just kind of swapped out some carbs for more protein type meals. So instead of more having like rice, noodles, for example, just more chicken, stuff like that. That's obviously pretty self-explanatory. And the third thing and most important that we did, we basically just planned his meals out. So exact same thing I talked about with the plan your workouts in on the Sunday. We did the same thing for the meal planning. And it just makes it so much easier because you have your game plan, you show up, and you just got to basically follow through with it. So if you are struggling with getting your protein up, because most guys have this issue. It's not really a calorie issue. Like sometimes it definitely is, of course, but a lot of times when we're stuck is, especially when we're really trying, it's getting the right protein in, and we typically have those, maybe higher carbohydrates, fats relative to the protein. If that's you, front load it in the morning, plan out your meals, like I said, and like I said, just try to swap out those carbs for the protein meals the best you can. Okay, another common reason why most men get stuck is you're simply just not moving around enough. Now, even let's say you're working out 2, 3, maybe even 4 times per week. A lot of the guys make the mistake of, okay, I worked out my 30, 45 minutes. Now I'm just going to basically sit on my ass all day and really not do anything. Well, I was that guy. I made that mistake for myself and even for my clients in the past where I just focused on workouts, but I didn't really focus on how many steps we're moving overall in the day, because that's just as important in terms of, getting your weights in at the gym. So when we started making the change to, okay, let's actually start tracking our step count, include myself and my clients, when we started making that change and really focus on step counts, the fat started melting off like crazy. Because so many times, like again, us busy guys, we work out maybe sometimes inconsistently, but we really only have like 4,000 or 5,000 steps per day, and we just simply aren't moving too much. So if that's you, get your workouts in the best you can, but try to get your step count up, even if it's not like 10,000. Like I said, baby steps forward to get to Mount Everest. Do the best you can to get your step count up, and I guarantee it will help you melt that stubborn fat off. Okay, the 7th reason why most men get stuck is you're focused on eating clean without tracking. Now, I said this many times on my channel, but I'm going to rehash it one more time right here. Eating clean is the equivalent of playing darts with a blindfold on. You might hit bullseye, but probably not, right? What I'm trying to say is eating clean is essentially a guess. And if you have no set systems, but you're eating clean, you really don't know how many calories you're taking in and how much protein you're taking in. And those are by far the 2 most important things you need to lose that stubborn belly fat. Now, think of it this way, like when you think eating clean, I kind of want you to answer this and even let me know in the comments below, and then you maybe pause the video. What do you think eating clean actually means? So either think about it or write in the comments below, what does eating clean mean to you? Because for some people, it could be like eating chicken and broccoli for a meal. For some people, it could be like avocado with fruits. For some people, it could be cleanses. It's very subjective, right? If we don't have set systems that dial in our calories and protein, we're playing darts with a blindfold on, we're just taking a lucky guess. So if you want to know basically how to eat the right way, and I literally made a video in terms of how I eat a full pizza every single Sunday and still lose fat, In other words, kind of debunking the eat and clean myth. I'm going to link it right now at the end. Check it out. And if you like this video, please like, please subscribe. It helps our channel and it very much appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the pizza video.